right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining. I'm very proud, I'm very happy to announce I have Miss Lori Carcich. She is the CEO and founder of Country Smooth Whiskey. It is an American whiskey founded in 2015, and it is all about celebrating America. It's made in America. The glass for the bottles are made in America. The bottle tops are made in America. The whiskey's made in America. And I guess you could say it's Americana in a bottle. And it also celebrates her love of country music. So, without further ado, Lori, thank you so much for your time. And how about you just give us an introduction as to who you are, and you also have I guess you could say a kind of kinship with a fellow female liquor developer, Karen Haynes from Spa Girl. So, yes, again, welcome and thank you.
Thank you for having me, Kurt. It's an honor to be here with you. My name is Lori Carcich, founder, CEO, and owner of Country Smooth Whiskey. You nailed the introduction. I feel like I don't even need to introduce myself much more, but I wanted to be able to enjoy whiskey neat. I was not a whiskey drinker, but I wanted to be able to drink whiskey neat at country music concerts, sporting events, at-home parties, and I wanted to make sure that it would be enjoyed by non-traditional whiskey drinkers, but yet still strong enough for your traditional whiskey and bourbon drinkers. It was important for me, based on our love for our country, that the entire package be 100% made in USA. Glass, cap, sleeve, you name it, and affordably priced. I started the company in 2015, began selling in 2016, and as of October of 2020, we're distributed in 8 states.
Wow.
Yeah, and exciting to announce that in the first quarter of 2021, we're onboarding between 6 and 7 states are in the process.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I believe there's some news for up north, Canada.
Yeah, the Canadian market, definitely at some point in time, I think with the tariff challenges and coronavirus sort of changed our world a little bit in 2020. You obviously have some experience with that. We all have been touched, good and bad, I think, in different ways. But eventually Canada, and we're talking to a few other countries, but really the growth and the development within the US is our primary focus. And it's going really well. Very excited to be here and to be in that position.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Could you please tell us, I know that your background is in accounting and business.
Okay.
So I'm not going to go into that, but I would rather go into more how you went about going from the idea, I want to have my own whiskey, to the actual formation.
Right. So, I definitely have a background in accounting and finance. I worked at a CPA firm, but had my own consulting practice for 10 years, raising my 3 children. So I knew that with any new business idea, before any capital is put out, there needed to be a ton of research, to be done on the international, domestic market mostly. From every component, the supply end, the opportunity, what we need to be different, you name it. So I spent about 500 hours doing so before we even put a dime into the company. And I wanted to make sure that whatever I invested my money in would be the right business for us. So that was back in mid 2015, and I believed at that time there was an opportunity. Whiskey and bourbon were really becoming hotter and hotter. They still are, and I knew that there were females in the industry for sure, but I thought I didn't know of any other women in American whiskey in terms of founders, CEOs, and obviously owners. But really, I just wanted to be able to create something that celebrated America. And it's not just from the name Country Smooth and the packaging and being made in America, but to be able to drink Country Smooth doing all the things that we Americans love. And that was a big part of why I started this.
Now, based on what you said, I got the impression that you, and correct me if I'm wrong, I got the impression you wanted to create a whiskey because you said you wanted to drink whiskey neat, which for the average person who's not used to whiskey, that's a bit kind of a baptism by fire. I learned how to drink whiskey by drinking whiskey soda, and then I gradually got to where I would drink single malts, on the rocks if they were not an expensive one, or just with a little splash of water if it was a really high quality one. So am I right in assuming, based on if I'm interpreting you right, that you wanted a whiskey that was a little bit more palatable for newer whiskey drinkers? Is that right?
Absolutely. I wanted the entire experience to be smooth. I mean, hence the name Country Smooth. I wanted to, and it's obviously the look of the bottle to me was really important. More modern style was the intention. I have a bottle right here.
Yeah, so, I like the clean, simple, to the point. I don't like too much foo-foo.
Right, and that was the goal. So you're looking at Country Smooth. This is a 750 ml. I wanted to create a very modern looking bottle. So you can tell from the shape of it, it's not your traditional whiskey bottle. Traditional bottles seem to be more short, stocky, what's just fantastic. We wanted something tall, screen printed on labels. There are no paper labels involved on the front, also on the back. A synthetic cork and the sleeve. All of those components are more modern style intentionally. The shape of the bottle, I had a few thoughts about that. Being that I'm a female, and many women, most of our hands are smaller than men's, I thought it'd be great if we could pick up a bottle very easily with our hands, which this allows us to do. Also, in retail stores, it's a much easier footprint to occupy the shelves to get into. The diameter is much smaller.
Okay.
And bartenders love it because they can just pick it up quickly from the saddle, pour, put it back. So all of those thoughts went into selecting this bottle and creating the design around it.
Okay, that's smart. And you're even to go to the point to think about the size of a woman's hands to be able to pick up the bottle of these. That's smart. So obviously you did your homework.
Hundreds of hours, exactly. It's in my DNA. I'm a data-driven researcher. So that's the story behind the bottle shape and size, and we have received many comments from retailers thanking us for the size of the bottle, because we can potentially get two facings versus one because of the diameter of the bottle. Takes up less space.
Smart. Now, back to the point about how you wanted to make something a bit more approachable for the new whiskey drinker. Without getting too scientific and losing everybody, including myself, what do you do to whiskey when you make it to make it more, for example, I know bourbon is 51% corn. I know that like in Scotch, they may use peat in some. There are many different styles and classes of whiskey, but what did you do in the process to make it more approachable?
So a lot of it has to do with a few things. It's mash bill. As you said, bourbon is anything, whiskey over 51%. That's one of the classifications to be considered and qualified a bourbon. So we're 94% corn.
Oh.
Very high in corn.
That alone probably makes it more, because it's going to have a natural sweetness to it.
Absolutely. So, the goal was to create something smooth and sweet, but yet not too sweet. And being higher in corn helps us do that tremendously. I would say that's number one on the reasons why it's so smooth. It's aged less than 2 years, so it's not a straight whiskey or straight bourbon. And I would say those are probably the two of the characteristics of what make it so smooth. But for me, going back to your question, my goal was the entire experience needed to be smooth. And for me, it starts with the look of the bottle. Is it inviting? Is it interesting? What it excites me about this bottle or not? Then for me, opening the cap and what the nose it's on, or in the whiskey, that's really important for me. Does it repel me? Does it have more of like an alcoholish type of burn? Too much of a burn nose, which I think can be very common. To me, that was not what we were going after. And then pouring Country Smooth into a glass, is that interesting? Does that want to make me drink it? And then, that was the goal, to be enticing enough to drink. And to have a burn is, I believe, very important, but not too much of a burn, right? I didn't want to burn on the front end and the back end. That always stopped me from really enjoying whiskey. For a $26 bottle, right? When we can get up into price points of $80, $90, we're talking about a different experience. And the little burn, which we do have, not too overwhelming. And even so much as what the smell is in the glass when the whiskey is gone. It has that really nice tobacco finish, and just the whole experience to me is important. And I know I'm not the only one, especially with whiskey and bourbon. The whiskey and bourbon drinkers really enjoy their whiskey and bourbon, and the entire experience usually is not just shot back in a glass and they're finished. So my goal was to consider all of these things when formulating and designing Country Smooth.
Did you guys self-fund or did you have investors?
So we self-funded the first round, for sure, to the point where we were able to start selling and proving our concepts. Then we did a small friends and family round, which was small but successful and helped us get to the next point, increase the valuation, where we did a second round outside of being self-funded this year, which has helped us grow. I mean, obviously, in this industry, like many businesses, capital is required to grow any business, right?
You gotta spend money to make money.
You do. And so my strategy has been and everyone has a different capital raise strategy. My strategy was self-fund, prove the pull through, obviously create a brand, formulate all of that, get distribution, prove pull through in sales, and increase the footprint of the company, point of distribution, raise money, increase the valuation, do it again in series. So it's been a fantastic 5 years. Very proud. When I started the company, it was really just me, right? And similar to Karen, we're just wearing several hats, working really hard, managing, finance, accounting, marketing, sales, distribution, you name it. And to the point now, we have a team of 6, nearly full-time team members of Country Smooth to some capacity.
Nice. And
really have tapped into a fantastic network of brokers that are allowing us to grow at the rate we're growing this year and next. So,
well, that's awesome. I know what you mean about many hats, because I took over this company in 2012 and I was doing it part-time, about 15 hours a week. And we had 15 people and we covered 4 cities in Texas. So now we have about 200 employees and we're in 7 states.
Congratulations.
So, oh no, thank you. I didn't mean it in a bragging sense, but I know what you mean about the many hats, because up until a couple of years ago, I was literally doing everything. The hiring, the interviewing, the firing, the paperwork, dealing with, do I have the licenses? Everything. So, and then, when you finally get the help, you have this extra time on your hands. And at first I was like, this feels kind of weird. Plus I used to be a chef for 27 years. So, chefs work insane hours and it's hard work. So this for me, it was kind of an adjustment. Even sitting still for me is a little bit difficult sometimes. Well, actually not always. So,
congratulations on the growth of your company.
Thank you.
I think it's fantastic. Some days as entrepreneurs, you say, what did I get myself into? But at the end of the day, I'm still in love with this company and the people that power this company. And it's that passion that you have in your business, that I have in my business, that wakes us up every single day, even in the worst of challenges that we may face, and power through them, right? You have to have that passion.
Well, yeah, true. For me, though, yes, I agree 100%. But I just enjoy the process. I enjoy the process of making connections. I enjoy the process of growing. I enjoy the process of learning. It's like guitar. I play guitar. You're not going to get better unless you enjoy doing the work, or same if you work out in the gym, I go 3-4 days a week. I'm not, I just go just to get some exercise. But, for these guys who are, compete, you have to enjoy the work.
Right.
And it sounds like you do, which is great. And if you don't, I don't know how anybody's going to be successful.
We launched an online country music series called the Country Corral.
Okay. Yeah, I saw something. I saw like some ads with country stars and.
Right. So we're really tied in and supportive of country music. I mean, country music was a big inspiration for me starting Country Smooth. We've always supported up and coming country music artists as part of just genuinely who we are.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Culture of the company, as well as we also support a couple of foundations that support military groups. So the military, the musicians, those are really near and dear to us at Country Smooth. But in coronavirus, we launched an online concert series through our Facebook page. Every Friday, we would interview and host an up-and-coming country music band. And we'd ask them questions about them, and they would sing and obviously help us promote Country Smooth. We just completed our 21st concert last night. So that was one of the initiatives we launched during coronavirus, because these artists had been playing, whether it's their local town, their local region, or national tours up until COVID. And not just financially, but they really enjoy their passion, right? So we wanted to give them an opportunity on our social media platform to be able to continue doing that digitally.
What is your approach, or what are some of the best things you learned, whether you do when you do an in-store demo, or whether you teach in your staff to sell your product to customers?
That's a great question. Number one, and we have selling points based on how they've been received by customers. And our team has said that the number one the best sales tip or point is America's first female founder and CEO of an American whiskey company, woman-owned, woman-founded. She wanted to create a smooth-tasting whiskey that can be enjoyed by traditional whiskey drinkers and non-traditional whiskey drinkers, to be enjoyed neat, over ice, and in cocktails. So I would say they start with the woman-owned portion of it, because that's a differentiating factor for us.
It is.
I would say our differentiating factors that are discussed in this order: women-owned, number two, affordably priced. So whether we're $22.99 in some stores, we average about $24.99, so affordably priced for the quality, and 100% made in USA, and support and celebrate America. So I would say that's in almost that order has been the most effective way to sell Country Smooth in stores.